And I'm here with Pradeep Tharakan, an old friend of mine. We used to work together. He's now come up in the world. He's a principal energy specialist with the Southeast Asia Energy Department of Asian Development Bank. Thank you for joining us today, Pradeep.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Pradeep, what are some of the key trends that you're seeing in renewable energy as the markets are developing, and as you've been working with countries focusing on the Mekong countries over the past 3 or 4 years?
Thanks, Peter. I think if you look across the countries in the Mekong, it's a mosaic of opportunities and trends. You've got countries such as Thailand, which was a regional best practice leader in the deployment of renewables, which had sort of suspended development for the last 2-3 years, coming back and actually promoting renewables in a big way. And they're looking at some new areas like distributed solar with storage, and also looking at actually ensuring firm power from renewable energy plants by combining with battery installations. They're also looking at electric vehicles in a big way. And then across the region, you have new entrants like Cambodia, which has sort of very quickly emerged onto the landscape with a large solar ambition. So Cambodia is in the process of developing what will be the first solar park in the ASEAN, and they've attracted global interest in this particular project. And then you've got countries like Myanmar, which are at a very early stage of development, and substantial work needs to be done there with the support of people such as ADB in terms of helping them identify where the resources are, helping with early project development, and perhaps setting up some innovative financing schemes that can support the government to de-risk these projects and attract private sector interest.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And also I'd note the Cambodia example. You have the sovereign or government part of ADB working with private sector, working with the public-private partnerships to around that, the first solar park, the first solar farm, and then burgeoning or sort of expanding into a solar park. That's really great. So thanks for sharing that. And then now turn to ASIF. We're here at the Asia Clean Energy Forum. It's been a long week. We're about 85% of the way through. We're partway through the fifth day. And what have you found the most interesting? What are some of the most interesting things that you've seen or heard or learned during the past few days here at ASIF?
Now, it's always great to be at ASIF. I've been involved with ASIF for over a decade, and it's truly one of a kind event. I think it's the only one in Asia that brings together practitioners, policymakers, financiers from large countries, new markets, old markets, small countries, all in one place to allow for a very contemporary and current discussion on all of the developments that are happening, the successes, the failures, and sort of the next steps that need to be outlined. I think in this particular ASIF, I found the deep dives to be particularly interesting. They allow for a topic to be developed fully, for case studies to be presented, for people to have detailed discussions on the specifics of what's working and what's not working, allowing for translation to new contexts.
And so this leads into a question about how do we improve and evolve ASIF to keep it interesting. This year we had a focus on women. We've doubled the participation of women speakers. We have a few more deep dives. We are going carbon light. Do you have any ideas or suggestions for what we can introduce next year to make it more interesting or to expand it to some new areas of discussion?
I mean, this is such a comprehensive program. It's kind of hard to identify something specific we could do in the near term. But I think one thing we may want to think about is, ADB is such a great convening platform for our clients, for our countries, and for the private sector. Could we bring some key, members of our clients together and perhaps have them commit to some sort of a competition or a challenge in any specific area? It could be perhaps trialing a new innovative financing product like a green bond in their countries, or it could be deploying a certain kind of technology at a demonstration scale. So they commit to that in one ASIF, they go out, and then because they are committed to it as a group, there's a sense of intra-competition amongst those members, and then they come back and report on progress the next year, or if they did make it, what were the challenges they faced.